We have the U.S. military shoot missiles into Mexico.
Shoot missiles into Mexico for what?
He would say to go after the cartels.
The anti-war president? By the way, that video that we put together.
Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian from the Young Turks attacked Jimmy Dore for being a Trump sellout in this clip, as Jimmy Dore has recently come out and destroyed Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian for being the total hypocrites that they are, now that they have distanced themselves from the left and are now more appealing to the right. But it's funny that Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian attacked Jimmy Dore because Jimmy Dore was starting to support Donald Trump because he thought he was right. Jimmy Dore never had Trump derangement syndrome, and it didn't take an election to change his mind. Just the facts. Let's jump in.
So if you were the anti-war person, you should have voted for Trump and the Republicans. That's what this means. If you're pro-war, you vote for Joe Biden and the Democrats.
I was trying to save abortion. That's why I voted for Biden.
Wow, that laugh at the end seemed genuine. That was Jimmy Dore endorsing Donald Trump as the anti-war option if he ends up running for re-election, I guess, which is fascinating because I remember the Trump presidency rather clearly. I remember his foreign policy rather clearly. And we'll get to Biden in just a minute. But before we do, let's just refresh Jimmy Dore's short memory span with who Donald Trump really was when it came to foreign policy during his first term in office.
The American military dropped the mother of all bombs, literally, that's its name. The bomb dropped today on an ISIS tunnel complex in Afghanistan is the most powerful non-nuclear explosion ever in warfare. After the bombing, President Trump suggested the weapon's use says a lot about his administration.
We have the greatest military in the world, and they've done a job as usual. So we have given them total authorization.
So if you were the anti-war person, you should have voted for Trump and the Republicans.
President Trump is giving the CIA significantly more authority in carrying out drone strikes.
The strike killing Soleimani was a major escalation in the Trump administration's maximum pressure campaign on Iran. Up until now, that campaign largely relied on crippling economic sanctions. So how do we get from economic pressure to military might?
Donald Trump has wielded his power of veto, this time to block a resolution which aimed to end US military assistance to the Saudi coalition fighting Iran-backed rebels in Yemen.
So if you were the anti-war person, you should have voted for Trump and the Republicans.
The president pulls me aside on at least a couple occasions and suggests that maybe we have the U.S. military shoot missiles into Mexico.
Shoot missiles into Mexico for what?
He would say to go after the cartels.
The anti-war president? By the way, that video that we put together also didn't include the fact that the Trump administration attempted coups in Venezuela on multiple occasions. Luckily, Trump and his administration was insanely incompetent and they failed in doing those coups.
Now, folks, I watched a lot of politics going on, and I don't remember any coups happening in Venezuela. Like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I missed it. I don't remember that part, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I do remember is the CIA, more or less the deep state, running coups all over the world. How about Ukraine in 2014 when they put Zelensky in there? I mean, all of this is happening right now because the United States, under this liberal deep state organism, right, that thing set this whole thing in motion. They put him in there through a coup after the democratically elected president at the time was ousted. That's what happened. So I think it's funny to attack Donald Trump trying to use the CIA when the CIA has been used notoriously throughout, I mean, the last 70 years. But Trump tried to use it in a different way. And now here we are talking about cartels. I mean, apparently maybe Donald Trump was right. But yeah, I think it's funny that Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian have so far changed their tune, you know, after Donald Trump won the election. But Jimmy Dore, I mean, I've been watching him for years. He never called Donald Trump Hitler and Nazis and all this. That's what Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian were doing. They were attacking Donald Trump like crazy. Jimmy Dore had a different opinion, but he didn't go after Donald Trump viscerally like that. But now Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian are changing their tune and they're playing nice. Jimmy Dore never had to change that. Kind of funny, don't you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Leave a like. Let's get back in.
That's who Donald Trump was. I remember very clearly how terrible he was in foreign policy. Just because he had rhetoric indicating that he wanted to pull troops or withdraw troops doesn't mean that he actually succeeded or really wanted those things. In fact, he has more negative marks on his foreign policy record than positive marks. And we'll get to Biden in a minute. But Cenk, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Trump is the peace president that we all need.
Yeah, remember when he said, we're not only gonna kill the terrorists, but we're gonna kill their families. And he, by the way, he followed through on that. A significant rise in civilian deaths under Donald Trump's bombings of foreign countries than even under Obama, and Obama was pretty terrible at it. So Trump came in and started killing civilians at a much higher rate, bombing all over the world. And Jimmy thinks that's the anti-war candidate?
In fact, the Trump administration stopped reporting on the number of civilian deaths that came as a result of the drone strikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, tell me that you become a right winger and your entire audience is right wing and you get paid by the right wing without telling me that. So Trump is anti-war. Look, you want to criticize the Democratic Party, there's plenty to criticize. But you also should be, by the way, correct on all the facts. For example, as we transition to Biden, who did get us out of Afghanistan? Oh, right, Biden did.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what sparked that commentary, that expert commentary from the intelligent Jimmy Dore? The fact that Biden has decided to deploy hundreds of troops to Somalia, which I think that's a totally fine thing to criticize him on. I would criticize him on that. But to ignore Trump's foreign policy and make him out to be the peace president is unbelievably dishonest. But he is speaking to a right-wing audience, and so I'm not surprised by it at all. Now, just to give you—
Yeah, but Jimmy Dore never attacked Donald Trump voters. He never called them racist and sexist and Nazi supporters and all that. No, that's what Cenk Uygur and Kasparian over at the Young Turks did. I mean, for years, they just eviscerated anybody who was pro-Trump in any way, and I mean, also all the fake news, all the fake facts that, they pushed, all the polls. And now only because Donald Trump has finally won is this narrative just absolutely crumbling in on itself. But I mean, Jimmy Dore, he never attacked people like these two did. He never did that. He had a difference of opinion, whatever. But look, folks, over time, if you just follow the facts, you just follow what's happened, you kind of figure it out. But yeah, Jimmy Dore never had Trump derangement syndrome, in my opinion, and he was never thinking that Donald Trump was this Hitler-esque person. No, that was the fake news. That was the fake media. That was the deep state. So we all can remember, because the internet is forever, who was really saying what and who was, really supporting the nefarious ones. But folks, let me know in the comments what you thought about what Jimmy Dore said in his little bit and what Cenk Uygur and Kasparian from the Young Turks had to say as well. Thanks for watching. Take care, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.